Places of worship are a vital part of life here for many, but lately, trends show that more people in all age groups are turning away from organized religion. While about 75% of people in the U.S. identify with a specific religion, the importance of that faith, in their eyes, is on the decline. A recent poll shows less than half of Americans say religion is a, quote, very important part of their life. That number was nearly 60% as recently as 2005. So, where has the faith gone? It made us want to dig deeper in this week's 20/40/60, where 3 generations take on one topic. Our 3 guests embrace their spirituality in different ways. 20-something Pablo Saavedra attends services at History Makers Church in Pembroke Pines.
Let me bring that home for you. You want to change the world, and God says, go home and have dinner with your family and change your family. Start there. Start at something common and watch him do the uncommon.
His tattoo sleeve spells out his faith. Quickly run us through this sleeve you got here, because it says a lot.
Yeah, so I originally started off up here. So since young, I've had a thing where I like to always say AG2G, right? All glory to God. So that's what we have here on this side, on the inside. Then I followed it up with faith, right? I mean, faith over fear. Just faith is important, because faith is the substance of things hoped for, the things that we do not see, right? Mm-hmm. And to be able to believe that no matter the circumstances that you're going through at the moment, that you can see the end at the light of the tunnel and that you will reach it.
Michelle Ayala, a 40-something public relations consultant, grew up in the Catholic Church, but her experiences as an adult prompted her to tap into her faith even more. Away from it for a while, but there were experiences as an adult that really made you explore your faith deeper. What were they?
Several experiences. I mean, COVID for one, becoming a mother. And my husband was diagnosed with cancer. So there were just back-to-back occurrences in my life that really made me realize that, really for my children more than anything, that I needed to give them something stronger than myself to lean on and to depend on as they grow.
Ron Wright is the elder statesman of the group. He attends Christ Journey Church in Coral Gables.
So we're glad to welcome you today. Those of you that consider yourself Christ Journeyers already, those of you that are joining us through church online, we're glad to be invited to your home today.
Led by Pastor Bill White. Wright says there is a disconnect between organized religion and younger people that must be overcome. They say that faith is failing because the family is in free fall, Ron, because many kids now are growing up without that family structure, and that's the way a lot of people first get introduced to their faith.
Sure. From their home, their parents are taking them to church, and there's been I think you're right, a disconnect from that as we live out in modern times, we'll call it. And so I think that leaves kids looking and searching. I've done some reading and understand that there's more of a draw towards spirituality in younger generations than there has been in the past, but it's a spirituality without structure, without necessarily truth, and so there's a lot of confusion there for them, that if they had been raised in a church-going family, maybe that wouldn't be the problem for them. Yeah.
So Michelle, what would you say to someone who's listening to this conversation and maybe has wrestled with it and thought, well, yeah, maybe I should get back into church, but I'm feel a little out of touch? What would you say to them?
I would say, even explore going on your own, going by yourself, and finding that comfortable spot in the church where you don't feel like you're sitting in the spotlight. You can just sit there quietly and sort of take in what's happening. That's how I sort of re-entered the church, if you will. And actually going back to your question about, what are people missing out on in that community sense, I recently started to go to a Bible study, and what's been really enlightening for me is that you realize how everybody is really going through very similar experiences, no matter their circumstances or where they're coming from, their walks in life, and it's been very comforting from that perspective, enlightening, empowering, everything. It's just yeah, it's been powerful.
Shared experience means something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pablo says the structure of organized religion acts almost like a barrier that keeps Gen Z away.
For the most part, when it comes to the younger generation, I think as far as religion, there's been too many do's and don'ts, and it seems like set of laws, right? And I think the younger generation, like myself, depending on how you grew up in such a strict home that it kind of wants to push you away from that. More so because I believe firmly myself, and this is what got me, into Christ personally, in an intimate relationship with God, is that it's not about religion, more say as to relationship with God. And I think in terms of religion and this sense of rules and things that you have to abide by, rather than to enter into an intimate relationship, right, where you understand each other and grow in that. I think that's kind of pushed away the younger generation from wanting to have to do with that.
Ron, you've been a youth pastor and had many other parts and facets of faith in your life. You moved away from it for a while but came back. Can you relate to kind of what Pablo and Michelle have said?
Yeah, it makes me think, and a lot of people that I meet currently, that they are struggling with the organized religion aspect. They don't want to leave their faith. That's still important to them, but they're struggling because they don't feel like the organized religion, the church necessarily, is fulfilling what they really need.
What are they looking for?
I think that when I'm talking to them, it's in groups where they're seeking connection with others. They're looking for a relationship, and they're looking for a community, but they don't feel like they're getting that out of an organized, liturgical, maybe, kind of a structure.
Modern conveniences like smartphones have made social isolation a real problem. The challenge for churches is to get people to recognize the power of a community bonded by a shared faith. What are they missing, do you think, Michelle, by not getting that group experience?
Yeah, well, a couple of things have come to mind. I think that people tend to seek out things that are new and trendy, and sometimes when you go to church, it's the same old thing. It's the same old rituals. But that's kind of what's cool about it too, is that it's almost like stepping into a time machine. And it's, I'm as interested in things that stay the same.
I want to thank all of you for coming in today, because I think this is really enlightening and an important conversation to have. And I think maybe this conversation can touch other people who maybe can find their way back to their faith if they feel lost. And at the end of the day, if that happens, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And Ron, no pressure for you to get a sleeve just like that. Okay?
Next week.
All right.